Salam alaikum. Alaikum salam. I want to start this video today with the proverb that you cannot know everything. You can only know half. So in that, I don't claim to know everything. I'm always learning. I'm always growing. And nobody knows everything. Okay? But I wanted to address something that's been going on for quite a while in regards to people being scammers and frauds in the Palo community. Now, based on my experience and based on my understanding of how things work in the spiritual realms, um, it is virtually impossible to fake this practice. It's virtually impossible. Okay? And there's several reasons why it's virtually impossible. And those people who do try to fake the practice, those people who do try to fake it, do things on their own, feel like they bigger than initiation, they don't need to go through the same process as everyone else. You can normally see it manifest in the quality of their life. You know what I mean? I know a few. Well, only I can't even say he a fraud. See, I don't really. You can't really attribute the word fraud to a religion because you can't really control how and what a person worships. You feel me? So you can't really say that a person is a fraudulent worshiper. You know what I mean? Like how do you legally say a person is a fraudulent worshiper, right? Based on the science of how things work, if one of us is a fraud, then all of us are frauds. Okay? Based on just the fact that everybody is worshiping something. They may not be worshiping it the same way. They may not be worshiping the same thing. And I'm using the word worship loosely because I don't really believe in worshiping anything. But I do believe in that certain spiritual forces and certain cosmic forces, certain elemental forces and ancestral forces do need to be venerated and propitiated in a proper way in order to get a specific result in the natural realm. So I don't really look at it as worship, okay? But for the sake of speaking about a particular religion, I'm going to use the word worship. So you got everybody worshiping all of these different energies in different ways. And and there is no legal criteria that states if one is a licensed Babalawo by the state, by the country, or if one is a licensed Tata, or one is a licensed Santero, or if one is a licensed voodoo song, or what have you. There's no legal standing on what determines if a person is an authentic priest or priestess in any tradition. So the whole fraud thing is clearly another priest's way of trying to discredit another priest for the sake of making themselves look more important, right? Whatever their motivation is behind doing it, it doesn't matter. We know what they're doing. You feel me? If a person initiates you wrong, then 9 times out of 10, you're going to see it in the quality of your life. Right? If things start going bad, or maybe you did something. You know what I mean? Maybe you did something. So You got to take that into consideration as well. Maybe you did something, but I'm making this video for the general public. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to use words that you would not understand. You know what I mean? I'm trying to keep it as general as possible. But people who practice this particular tradition or any other tradition, they're going to do it based on the way that they were taught by the person who was clearly getting results with what they were doing. Nobody's going to go to anybody who's not getting results, right? Like I said in the last video, you want to see the type of life that a person is living, so forth and so on. Now, they don't have to necessarily be, they don't necessarily have to be rich and showered with material objects and all of these different things. But if their life, regardless of what people say in regards to rumors, slander, lies, defamation of character, if you meet the person and they're living a good, clean life, you know what I mean? They're not performing nothing illegal. They're staying within the ethics and morals of the particular tradition. They're not overcharging people for things. And that's even a touchy subject, because can you really tell a person that they are not allowed to put a particular amount that they want to receive for utilizing their ache or their spirits or what have you? You can't really tell a person that, but people know fair. People know what's fair. So if that person is overcharging people and so forth, then that's something that they would eventually have to deal with the spirits. You know what I mean? But there's no way to say a person is a fraud. Now, you could say a person's fake, right? You can say, he's not really doing this, he's not really doing that, he's a fake, she's a fake. Don't necessarily mean it's true. But legally, you can call a person a fake all you want. You know what I mean? I've had people say that I was a fake. I've had people say that I was a fraud. I've had people who still say I'm a fraud. People who still say I'm fake. Regardless of the positive results that I receive from working with my nganga, from working with my spirits and so forth, these people, for the sake of discrediting of the priests, will, for whatever reason, say this person is a fraud, this person is a fake, this person is a scammer, this person is doing this. That's not really how it works in these traditions, you know. At the end of the day, regardless of what that individual is working with, if that person is getting results, that's pretty much what the community care about. You know what I mean? The community don't care. If you sitting out in the middle of the bush and you came across a shaman and you had a spiritual problem, you had a problem in your life, and you asked that shaman for some advice or for some type of help, natural help or what have you, and that shaman walked you to a tree, and at that tree is a hole at the bottom of the tree where he may have put some things that he has made sacred through his shamanistic practice to consecrate a particular type of energy. And he go to that tree and perform some type of ritual in front of that tree to call those energies up in order to assist you in your problem, and you get a result, a positive result. But yet, nobody else is performing or working with the tree the way that this particular shaman is. Does that mean that that shaman is a fraud? Does that mean that that shaman is a fake? You see? You got to be careful what you read on this internet. You got to be careful what you read. You got to be careful who you listen to, because everybody got a motive. This is one of the reasons why when people call me and they say, I got work done from this person, I got work done from that person, and I say, well, who is the person? And sometimes they don't want to tell me who the person is. And I said, I'm not asking you to say that person is a bad priest or practitioner or whatever. I'm not asking you to tell me who the person was for that reason. I'm asking because if I heard good things about the person in the community, you know what I mean? As far as results, I really don't care what that individual does in their personal life. But if they doing work for people and they getting results, they got testimonials, they got good reviews, you know what I mean? Then I'm going to think, I'm going to be more inclined to think that person has a grip on their practice and they know what they're doing. Okay? So I'm not going to say anything negative about that person. You know what I mean? Even sometimes when I do hear negative stuff about other priests, and then this person comes to me with a bad experience from not even a priest, but just a practitioner. It could be hoodoo, voodoo, palo, whatever these people practicing out here nowadays. If a person come to me and they be like, yo, I paid so-and-so this much money to do this, to do that, and that person, I didn't get no results, you know what I mean? They they completely blocked me, or they completely ignored me, blah, blah, blah. I'm gonna say, well, if I heard some things, I'm like, well, okay, I've heard some questionable things about this individual. I don't even go into detail about what I heard. I just say I heard some questionable things about this individual, but let's check with divination to see if this person effectively was able to perform the work that they did for you. And I'll let them know. And if the person did in fact do it, then I will honestly let them know this person did it. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna lie in front of my nganga. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna lie in front of my prenda and to get some money from a person, or to try to do to try to speak down on another priest. I really don't like speaking down on priests. I don't even like speaking down on the priests that don't like me. You know what I mean? I don't even like speaking it because it does the community a disservice. It makes it look as if nobody in the community can be trusted, and in a lot of instances, it's kind of true. You know what I mean? A lot of people in the community cannot be trusted. You know what I mean? This is why I make it very. I make it very. I make a very point to post testimonials of my work, because you have so many people out here who are doing things unethically or incorrectly or what have you, and they don't have any background or track record for doing anything good, and then it goes unnoticed because these people may not be online, they may not talk about what they do online, things of that nature. So so um so you have to be careful with that. You know what I mean? I post the testimonials of what I do, simply to prove. I mean, in this community, you got to prove that you're able to get results. You know what I mean? And I have no reason to fake a testimonial. Like, think about it. You can't fake this stuff. If I've been doing this on the internet only since 2015, consistently on the internet. Yeah, I may have changed my name a few times, but I did so because of the different paths that I was going through at that particular moment, and I decided to rest. Um, I decided to rest with the name Nebrotician, simply because Nebrotician is a universal occultist. I don't just practice this. You see, I'm initiated 3 times over in different traditions. So I didn't want to be classified as just a Baba. I didn't want to be classified as just a Tata. I didn't want to be classified as just a ceremonial magician. I didn't want to be classified as any. I didn't want to be stamped as that one thing because that's not the only thing that I do. Okay. Um, but Tatangolo is my real Palo name. Um, that is my official real Palo name. It always has been. For people that say that he never received a name, that's just part of the name. I just abbreviated it for the sake of the internet. Because there's certain things that you just don't share all of for a purpose because they don't tell you that. People go around asking questions. Oh, what's your Nsila? Oh, what's your name? Oh, what's this? What's that? And you don't realize that these people can use this stuff against you spiritually. You know what I mean? They can use this stuff against you. You know, so you don't go around just telling people this. Even when they ask, even when you go into another person's Muna Insul, and you go and you draw your FEMA on the ground when you visit him, you never draw the whole thing. You always leave a part off because you don't know that person could take that FEMA and he could do some things or she could do things with that FEMA if they decide that they don't like you one day. You see? So you kind of leave a part off of it so that they don't know, you know what I mean, how to call your shit completely. So you just got to learn how to move in the community once you know how things are done and how people are. You learn how to move in the community. And just the fact that I'm even explaining these things, if I wasn't authentically initiated in the tradition of Palo Mayombe Kimbisa, then I would not even know these things. There's no way for me to know this without actually being a part of a real Muna Inso and actually being a part of the tradition. So you got to ask yourself, when people talk negatively about other priests, what's their motive? What is their motive for making up lies? What's their motive for slandering people? What's their motive? You got to ask that. If you're not asking that, then you're not quite intelligent in your ability to discern what's real and what's not. If you just go off of whatever somebody say because they got a fraud page on Facebook and they just constantly typing lies and lies and lies and lies and lies and lies and lies about one person or primarily one person, but yet they have a habit of doing this to multiple people who they feel have a following or anything like that online, you got to ask yourself, what's the motive behind that? Is it racism? Is it jealousy? Is it envy? Is it competition for money? Is it just whatever? I really don't know. Don't care, but I'm just saying, you got to know that there's a shallow reason behind it. You know what I mean? Especially when you see the person that they're talking about living the entirely opposite life of what they're saying on their little feed. You know what I mean? You gotta be like, okay, wait a minute. I met this dude in person. Like, I know he not doing none of this. You know what I'm saying? Like, at some point, continuous slander about other priests and priestesses end up being it end up falling on deaf ears because at that point, the average person gonna look at that and be like, oh, this person just a hater. You know what I mean? And they're not gonna believe it anyway. This just look like some hate. You know what I mean? Somebody took a picture of me. I don't know what they did, but they put me in front of these pots and stuff and said those was my pots, said they was fake. I don't know. I mean, shit was crazy, but they did it. And for a minute, I had got my old page hacked. Somebody had hacked the page and everything. Somebody hacked my first Tatangolo page. I think that's how, yeah, they uploaded it to that page. And I'm like, and I took the stuff down, but before I could take it down, some other people started spreading this stuff around, like, look at this fake, look at this fraud. But as you can see, my Ngangans do not look anything like those pictures. You see? My Ngangans do not look anything like those pictures. Nothing at all. You see? So, just to deaden that, you know what I mean? Because, and I'm speaking on this not only for myself, but I'm also speaking on this for a lot of other people that I see certain individuals um, talking negatively about for whatever reason. You know what I mean? You got to watch out for them people that be like that. Everybody's wrong except for them. Everybody's real except for them. I mean, everybody's fake except for them. You ask them about anybody, oh, they're fake. Oh, this person's fake. Oh, yeah, he's that. Oh, he's waddy waddy. Oh, he's that. Just making up stuff about everybody you ask them about. That person is not a credible source to find, even though they present themselves like, oh, if you want to verify somebody, come to me. Even though if they do that, you still got to question why everybody that you verify to them is not real. Unless they're a part of their little one lineage, you know, a part of their lineage or a part of their Rama or something like that. You know what I mean? You got to be careful about stuff like that. Because these people are the type of people who do not have the character to even be able to help you to elevate in these traditions. These are the type of people that if they operate like this, then they clearly do worse. If they operate like this in the public, imagine what they do behind closed doors. You know what I mean? Imagine what they do behind closed doors. Anybody can hide behind a Facebook page or an Instagram account, or anybody can hide behind it and talk about everybody. You know what I'm saying? And just create negative content for people in the community. You know what I mean? But most real people like myself, we don't have time to even respond with negative content about the people that's posting the stuff. There's a lot of things that I could say about the people that post trash about me. I don't waste my time doing that. You know what I mean? I personally believe that we should be a community where, because the only way to learn this practice truly is to be in this room with me, or to be in a room like this with another Tata or another Yai. That's the only way you can learn, really. You can't learn it from real far away. You're going to learn slow. You know what I'm saying? So, but it doesn't mean that people that live far away or live in other states cannot be initiated here or anywhere else without living in that place, because everybody's not meant to be a priest. Some people just meant to be devotees. Some people just meant to get initiated, get the protection of the spirits, and go on with their life. Everybody's not meant to work as a priest in that capacity. I have godchildren who are just devotees. I have godchildren that even live here locally who are just devotees. You know what I mean? They don't even take part in the priestly aspect of it, because, you know, they just got initiated to get the protection of the spirits so that their life will keep going good and so forth. You know? And I don't make them do it. I don't sit up and, oh, you gotta come and you gotta do this, no, I'm not gonna worry about that. That's their and see, like, that's their path. If their path is for them not to, that's not what they meant to be, then who am I to make them do it? You know what I mean? But it may have been in their path that they just needed the protection. You know? They just needed the protection because they had a lot of negativity around them in their life, a lot of negative people and things of that nature. So yeah, you know, there's no way for you to really say that a person's, first of all, a fraud in these traditions does not exist. By that definition of that word and by what it represents in a legal, from a legal standpoint, there are no frauds in the community. I'm just gonna let y'all know that right now. It don't exist. That's some stuff that, uh, you know, a few people on the internet who like to talk negatively about other practitioners uh, uses to make you feel as though these people are breaking some type of laws or rules because they're not practicing the same way that this individual is practicing, or because this individual does not take them serious in the community um, as priests or priestesses. And that's that individual's problem. It's not the problem of the person that they're talking about. You just keep doing what you do. You know what I mean? Like, I've had other priests that I don't even know, you know, say negative things about me, and they don't even know me at all. They don't know how I practice. They just believe in what they see other people post on Facebook and things of that nature that clearly has no backbone, no proof, no nothing. It's just accusations and slander and lies. And there are other good people out here who know how to work this tradition, um, who are being ridiculed and persecuted as well in a similar way. And I know these people are not. These people are good. You know what I mean? I know that these people are doing their best based on what they learn in order to help people that come to them. You know, and I don't see these people talking negatively about other people. You know what I mean? So those are the people that you really should consider working with. You know what I mean? You ain't nobody has ever been able to say that they came to me and I was like, oh yeah, that Tata ain't shit. He fake. He this, he that. Except for one person. One person. And that's because this individual is trying to operate as a Tata and he really does not have anything in Palo to work with. Anything. And he's admitted it, that he don't have anything. You know what I mean? So when people ask me about him, I will tell them, like, you taking your chances, bro. You know what I'm saying? You taking your chances. You know? So, but other than that, I don't speak negatively about anyone. And I don't even say that that individual is a fraud. I just tell people the truth. I don't necessarily say that person's a fake Tata. I just say that that person does not have what's needed in this tradition to be able to operate and work as a Tata at the level that he's uh, telling people that he can, because you can't fake it. You see what I'm saying? Like, if you go and try to do some shit with somebody and you don't really have the licencia to do it, you can fuck that person up. You know what I mean? You can really fuck that person's life up. And people are out here playing with people's lives for money. You know what I mean? And notoriety. You know? So that's dangerous. That's dangerous. I've seen people who started scratching people over their prenda, you know, and they did not receive the imbele ceremony from their padrino. I know this for a fact because me and them got the same padrino. And they didn't receive the same ceremony that I received. You know what I mean? And these people they was scratching people on top of their pot, and the person's life got messed up. The person found me on the internet, told me who they got initiated with. I told them that I know that person and that that person does not have the licencia to initiate other people on top of his nganga. And we had to go and fix their initiation. My padrino had to scratch them again, and then their life got better after that. So in that sense, I wouldn't necessarily say that that brother was a fraudulent Tata, but he was operating outside of his capacity to perform the necessary rituals that the people were requesting, and he was harming people in the process. So if you try to fake at doing something, it's gonna show in the result of what you're trying to do. It's not gonna have a positive effect. It's not gonna have a positive effect on a person's life. Sometimes you may see their life immediately go down. This person, these individuals, her and her son, their life immediately went down. Immediately went down. And that's when they came and sought out my help, and I took them to my godfather because at the time, I did not have the licencia to fix their problem, and I wasn't about to try to pretend like I did, so I took them to the source. And that's, you got to be responsible enough to do stuff like that. But people come into these practices and they get power hungry. They get money hungry. You know what I mean? They want to control people. You know, because a lot of people think that godchildren are their fucking bank account. You know, stuff like that, where they can just go and charge them for services whenever they want to. Tell them they need stuff that they don't need and all that kind of stuff. But as y'all can see, I really do this. So regardless of whatever negative content that anyone will probably try to put out there, all you got to do is revert back to this video. Revert back to this video. And you can see for yourself. Or you could book a reading. You can click the link in the description of the video, and then you could just book a reading with me, and then you'll see for yourself that way too. So, I hope that this video was helpful for you all. Definitely check out my Instagram for all of the reviews. You can follow me on Instagram. You can follow my like page on Facebook. You can follow me on Twitter. Definitely join the Patreon if you want to take part in the weekly question and answer classes. I'll also be giving free readings at the end of each question and answer class, which will be streamed live. It's powered by YouTube, but it'll be private only on Patreon. Because I don't like going live publicly on YouTube. So if you join the Patreon, then you can catch the lives, which will be open question and answer classes. Somewhat of a lecture, but then you can ask questions. I may lecture on a particular topic for about 30-40 minutes, and then the second hour I'll let y'all ask questions, anything you want to know, because it'll be closed to the public, so I don't have to worry about particular individuals, getting information that they don't need to get about the way I do things. So definitely click the link tree, join the Patreon, follow me on my social medias, and if you need any type of spiritual assistance, book your consultation. If you want any type of spiritual work, if you're having spiritual afflictions in your life, then definitely book a spiritual reading. And I will see y'all on the next video. Assalamu alaikum. Alaikum salam.